All right, on today's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our TensorFlow course, and we're still doing our malaria covenants module. Let's have a look at what we went over today. Now, yesterday, if you recall, the last thing we went over was the convolutional layer, and today we're going to pick up what we left off. So in order to better visualize this and get a better understanding of the convolutional layer, we will look at the CNN explainer, which is the convolutional neural network explainer. Before we look at the CNN explainer, let's look at this example. Here we have a 4x4 image. So we have 16 different pixels. Let me move it down so you can see our 4x4 image. You can see we have 4, 8, 12, 16. It's going to represent our 16 pixels. If we flatten out these pixels, we get this shape. Now we have 16 inputs. And then in the output, when we move down, we have 4 different neurons. This will give us 16 connections per neuron, which will leave us with 64 parameters, excluding the bias. So you can see here we have our 16 inputs and our 4 neurons. Let me move it down so you can see that fully. So you can see we have our 16 inputs and our 4 neurons, which will give us 64 parameters after each one has made a connection with each neuron. But with the convo layer, we could go from this 4x4 to just a 2x2 with just non-parameters. So we would have that what we call a kernel here, or a filter, which is 3x3, which actually corresponds to our weights, which we've seen already. So instead of flattening this out, we can leave it how it is, our 4x4, and then we can get to this 2x2 by using this filter here, or a kernel of 3x3s, which was non-parameters. So the kernel or filter here, kernel size 3, will produce the output of 2x2, which when we flatten out will give us the 4 neurons that we use to make the connections to our 16 inputs. So that's how we got these 4 neurons here. We used our 9 parameters or of the filter or the kernel that produces the 4 outputs here, or the 4 neurons here in our output. So we have our 16 or 4x4 pixel image. We used our filter of 9 parameters that produce an output force of 4. Let me move it down so we can move forward. And so instead of working with 64 parameters, we're working with 9 parameters. If we want to replicate that same example in the CNN explainer, here's what we get. We have this input right here, which produces this output. So you can see here, I drew the best I can. Our input, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 12, 16. We have our 16 pixels here, and then we have an output here of 4. And we got from this input here to this output by using the kernel or the filter of 9. Now let's say that we have a kernel filter size equals 3, which is going to be a 3x3, which will give us 9. And because we have a kernel filter size equals 3, we are able to get this output. Now I'm not going to go deeper into how we actually got to the output by using the kernel, because I'm still grasping everything myself. So I don't want to try to explain something to you that I'm not fully grasping at the moment. But yeah, I will do more studying, and we will pick this up tomorrow. And of course, I will pick it up, or I will keep you guys posted every step of the way. But for now, this is the Python Papi, and you guys stay Gucci.